What's up, guys? We are officially live here on Wildcard Sports. I'm joined today by the guys from Hold My Helmet. We got Dylan and we got Will. And so there's topics that we want to talk about from the NFL season so far. There's so much to talk about, but these are just a few of the topics we want to talk about. And if you're watching right now, feel free to post any questions you have in the chat and we'll answer them throughout the show or towards the end of the show. So just getting right into it, top of the list here, we want to talk about the Broncos. They had such a terrible start to the season. Everyone was wondering what was going on with Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, all that. But now they're turning it around. They're on a 5-game winning streak. So what do you guys think about the Broncos right now? Are they a dangerous team?
Traded some key pieces away on defense, and yet they still have been better since then. So I think the Broncos are pretty legit, especially in the AFC that seems kind of wide open now with the injuries at quarterback. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, they played some serious teams. They beat some serious teams, and I feel like in the beginning of the season, we thought we would never have this conversation. I thought we were just thinking about next season, what they're gonna do, if they're gonna keep Russell Wilson or not. We're way beyond that, and it's a really interesting topic now because I don't know what they would look like in the playoffs. These last 5 games they've been showing a lot. Their defense has stepped up from ever since that Miami game, like you said. But yeah, now they're a very interesting team, and I'm wondering how they would look in the playoffs. And I really don't know. They have a lot of key players that have been stepping up a lot, and it's kind of like only a matter of time when they were going to become good because they have so many key pieces. They had one of the best defenses 3 years ago. You still have a lot of those people in that roster still there. So it's becoming an interesting take right now.
Yeah,
and I think they're gonna go a little further.
And if you think about it, the secondary got a little bit kind of torched by Miami. But when you really think about it, they got Pat Surtain back there, top 2, probably the best corner in the league. And people sleep on Justin Simmons. He's a really good safety. So they do have a good secondary. I feel like a little bit like they kind of gave up in that Miami game. Like I got away from them and they kind of just mailed it in. So I kind of felt like a little bit of an anomaly. But so
I feel like they needed that smack in the face though. So
they definitely needed it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a turning point for them. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like that turning point for sure was what was it, week 8 when they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Like people were like,
yes.
"Oh, whoa, Broncos beating the
But,
Chiefs?"
but Steven, even a few weeks before that, I think a few weeks before that they played the Chiefs and they only allowed 19 points. So they bounced back right away. I'm pretty sure that was the week after the Miami game or 2 weeks after.
2 weeks
Regardless,
after,
they bounced back pretty quickly. So that's definitely coaching has a lot to do with that. So Sean Payton should definitely take a lot of credit in this, and Russ should deserve some credit too because he's made a lot of those Russ plays that we saw in Seattle. Kind of like I don't want to say throw it up and let his receivers make it, but in a way he's throwing it up, letting Cortland Sutton making plays on the sideline in the end zone, and Cortland Sutton's really starting to gel well with Russ. So they're running the ball, so it's looking good for them. I don't think they would make any noise in the playoffs, but it's definitely possible right now for them to make it.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's only a matter of time. Like Sean Payton would turn around when a team gets a new coach. Doesn't matter how much experience they have. It takes time. They're not gonna be a Super Bowl contender first year. Maybe not even a playoff team. Like they're gonna be a dangerous team in about 2 to 3 years, I think. And
let's not forget there was a lot of messes he had to clean up too. The whole Russ situation in itself was a mess. So he's done a good job so far.
Yeah, so their upcoming schedule, they got so they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. They got Houston coming up at Houston. That's going to be a tough one. Not going to be a walk in the park. But then they got the Chargers at the Chargers. I would have said that's a really tough game, but man, we'll talk about the Chargers later. But they got the Chargers. They got at Detroit. I don't know what to think of Detroit as of last game, uh, but we all thought they would beat the Packers.
Listen,
What do you think about
they
that?
never won a
Victor?
Thanksgiving game. When was the last time they won a Thanksgiving game?
It's been
Yeah,
a few years.
I
No,
guess so.
I think since like the 1970s or something like that. I read that's the last time they won a Thanksgiving game.
Is it really been
Yes,
that
it's
long?
been that long. That's why I was
70s?
going to this. I was a little skeptical.
We gotta look into that. That
Whoa.
might that sounds
No, I'm so serious. We can look that up.
Oh man!
maybe we will.
But we thought this
It's
was
been a while since
this
they
was
won.
the year they would just destroy the Packers because the Lions are that much better. Packers are way down here this
Yeah.
year at least. But yeah,
Well, they
so
killed them the first game. They killed them the first game, so
Yeah,
they destroyed
that's
them.
true. So then Broncos got New England, easy win there, and then they got the Chargers again at home, so they should get definitely at least split with the Chargers or win both. And then they got the last game of the season against the Raiders, so definitely winnable games. They could sneak into a wild card spot. I wouldn't be surprised by that actually for the Broncos.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And right now, I think the three spots are. I think it's. Is it the Steelers? The Steelers, the Browns, and the Colts. I think right now.
Yeah.
And
Yep, exactly.
I
And
don't
then-
trust either. I don't trust either Cleveland or Pittsburgh's quarterbacks, and the Colts are kind of they've been a surprise team, but I don't take them seriously. There's definitely a possibility. It's definitely there. They have some tough games coming up though. They do.
Yeah.
Houston, that's a tough one. Chargers. I mean, I don't. So they haven't played the Chargers yet, right? So they played them twice. So they're probably going to
Twice.
split with the Chargers. They're probably going to split with the Chargers. There's some tough games there for sure. Green Bay, I mean, Detroit, not Green Bay. Yeah, Detroit's a tough one too. I don't know if they Detroit, will ground and pound them probably to death. So there's some tough ones in there. But they beat the Chiefs, they beat the Bills. They beat the red hot Vikings. They stopped that streak. So like I said, definitely possible. We'll see though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it's hard. I'm looking at the wild card right now. It's like not Broncos. Bills. They're in 10th spot right now. Past Denver's in 9, Bills in 10th. It's hard not to see the Bills miss the playoffs. They're a great team.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, they're
The
a
way
good
they've been
team.
playing, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But I mean, they could have beat the Eagles. Like very could have beat the Eagles, but I don't know. It's
Well,
just
they put themselves in a tough spot now because I'm pretty sure their schedule coming up is pretty tough. So before
Yeah.
this week, I saw the Bills making the playoffs, but now I don't know. It's going to be tough for them. I think they
Gonna
have a
be
few
tough.
tough games coming up.
yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's just move on. Next topic here. Aaron Rodgers going down week 1, as we all know. But should he come back? We'll ask the Jets fan. Do you want Rodgers to come back? Obviously, if
So
you guys
this-
are fighting for a playoff spot, but you just don't know.
This is a loaded question because,
Yeah.
obviously, if they're fighting for a playoff spot, I mean, at this point, the Jets aren't making the playoffs. Let's be honest. This franchise is kind of a disgrace. I'm not even going to really get into the Hail Mary thing. It's just like, it's a joke of its own. But
Yeah.
the fan in me wants to see this guy play if he's healthy because as a Jets fan, we don't know if he's going to become ever playing as a Jet. We don't know if he's coming back as a Jet next year. He might the offseason might come and he might just be like, you guys this franchise is a joke. Get me out of here. So I want to
Right.
see this guy play. And plus on top of that, there's a big possibility, Steven, that if he does come back, it could look like the same thing, maybe a little better, but there might be struggles with the offensive line. He might be getting smoked back there. So honestly, the fan in me wants to see him come back, but the logical, NFL guy is saying, why would you want him to risk his career getting hurt coming back too early? Because to be honest, I never thought he was coming back in the first place. It's a 9 to 11 month recovery. I don't care about the speed bridge. It's a long recovery, and if he comes back early, he might hurt himself for next season, and then at that point, you're retiring at that point. So the logical NFL guy in me is saying, don't come back, just scrap it till next season. And the fan in me is saying, I want to see this guy play, Steven. So
Yeah.
I'm a little torn here for sure.
I know it would be. I mean, we would all tune in, especially you're a Jets fan, but non-Jets fans, we would all tune in to the game he comes back this season if he did.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, I'm looking at your guys' schedule. You guys are on a 4-game losing streak right now. You got
Yeah.
Atlanta coming up. You can turn it around there easily. You got Houston. You can get the W. It's not going to be easy. But then at Miami's tough. You could beat Washington, at Cleveland, then at New England. Both winnable games.
Steven, I don't know. We lost to New England. We lost to the Raiders.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, Steven, listen to this. How do we lose to the Patriots? How do we beat the Eagles? I don't understand any of this. The Eagles must be really kicking themselves. Like, how did we lose to the Zach Wilson and the Jets? Because
they thought it was
they'd be
going to be a
sitting
walk in the
undefeated
park.
right now.
Yeah, they
That's
thought it was a
not
walk in the
played
park.
itself.
That was a weird game in itself. The reason they really lost that game is because Jalen Hurts kept throwing when they had the lead. So, but anyway, moving on. Yeah, I don't understand this team.
But
So
I
I'm
feel
very
like here's the scenario. If Aaron Rodgers comes back, we're coming up in December. You guys got to beat Atlanta. You got to beat Houston. And if you beat Miami, go on a 3-game winning streak, that will entice Rodgers to for sure come back. And I think that's happening. But you have to go on a 3-game winning streak.
We're talking a lot of ifs here, man. This is the Jets. You
Huge
see the
ifs,
Jets.
yeah.
I don't even trust the Jets against Atlanta. I think I'm picking Atlanta in that game. And what's Atlanta? I don't think Desmond Ritter's any good. So
I don't even know the line on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Falcons are home if I'm not
No,
mistaken. But
no, you guys are home. You guys are home.
oh, we're home. Atlanta
Yeah.
still might be the favorite in that. So honestly, I
Probably.
think Atlanta would be the favorite.
I mean,
Yeah.
I just can't see Aaron Rodgers wanting to come back to a team like this. You guys do have stars, but nobody's been performing how they should be. Brees Hall's been looking good, but other than that, your receivers have kind of been like, disappearing.
But
Yeah,
would the
Garrett
receivers be
Wilson-
great with Rodgers there? That's the thing. Like, would the receivers be,
I
as
think it would
good
be
as-
too much pressure on him. The line just
Yeah.
wouldn't keep up.
Well, the first 4 plays that he played, it wasn't looking good. I was at the game. Trust me, it was not looking good. He was looking a little old.
That is true.
It's a long season, so they could have always picked it up. But they have a lot. They've had like 12 different offensive linemen or something, some crazy number. They've had a lot of line injuries. But usually, when you're blaming the line, the drops, and everything, the coaching, usually it's because you don't have a good quarterback. So let's be honest, Zach Wilson's not good. Tim Boyle is probably even worse. So at this point, would you go back to Zach? I don't know. I don't even know at this point. It's just this season's a wash. I think it wouldn't be smart for this guy to come back. Just scrap it till next season. Get fully healthy. Get some linemen in the draft,
Yeah, exactly.
and we'll see what happens. But I don't think he should come back realistically.
But at the same time, I'm like, you guys need your money's worth now with Rodgers. Maybe just, you know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah, that's
He's
the fan of me
here.
saying.
Yeah.
That's the fan of me saying this guy may never play for us, and I want to see if it works now. To see if we need to draft the quarterback. So there's both sides in this for sure. You don't know if you're going to take a lineman or a quarterback or both. So, I mean, Rodgers coming back and seeing what it would look like, it would definitely help. But, at the same time, he would be rusty. So, would it really give you, that much of a sample size? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
He's going to start practicing.
Exactly.
It's an interesting what's going on in New York. It's crazy. Every year.
If you were a Jets fan, you wouldn't be surprised because this
No,
stuff
that's
happens.
true.
every year.
Yeah.
The Jets have a way of reeling you in. The Lions for years and the Browns, they're just terrible and they're always terrible. The Jets have a way of reeling you in, thinking in the second you finally think you have something, they're just ripping your heart out. The Jets have a way of doing that.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. But moving on to another New York team, the New York Giants. I mean, a horrible season, we could all admit.
Yeah.
But Tommy DeVito, what do you think of him? I don't know what to think. Obviously, teams don't have a lot of tape on him, so he's gonna play well. But when teams figure him out, we'll see. So what do you think, Dylan? Tommy DeVito.
So this is a similar situation. I don't know what to make of it. Tommy DeVito looked pretty good against some mediocre teams, but at the same time, it's just a guy that we don't know. I mean, we still have Tyrod Taylor, and I'm pretty sure that he's on pace to come back next week. At this point, I'm kind of torn up because the Giants are at the position where they could still make a run for the playoffs. They are 2 games out of it right now, and our schedule is not that hard. I'll go through it right now. We have Green Bay next week, then we have Saints, then we have Eagles, then we have Rams, and then the last game of the year, we have Eagles. And I'm almost positive that the Eagles are going to be subbing people out and not playing their starters. These are some games that we could definitely win. Obviously, I'm saying the Eagles, we lose that. We maybe could win the last game. But listen, I don't know if I would want Tommy DeVito in that position. Tyrod Taylor has played in playoff games. He was played for the Bills. Yeah. So I just would I would trust Tyrod Taylor a lot more in that position. There was some stuff to like.
I say stick with the spark, stick what's working. Who cares if he's brand new? Just like when the Niners, when we first started Purdy, he started winning, so we're sticking with him, and he brought a whole new element, a whole new spark to our team. I feel like, I'm not saying Tommy DeVito is just like Brock Purdy, but he kind of has that like spark, like everyone's excited. So that's what I see. But I'm not a Giants fan. But are you excited that he's kind of like brought this spark to your team?
Yeah, for sure. No, it was an exciting game to watch. But I'm just, as a Giants fan, I'm just waiting. It's like, okay, so when's it gonna end?
Yeah.
So when's
Yeah,
it gonna
exactly.
end? I mean, I guess we'll see. You know, they're playing Green Bay. You know, they have a pretty decent defense. So we'll see what they look like against a decent defense. I mean, if
'Cause
they
you guys
start
should've-
them, I'm not sure because there's talk around if Tyrod Taylor or Tommy DeVito is going to play.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
I don't know. We'll see.
And you should have blown out the Patriots. It was only 10-7. So. I mean,
Well,
that should've-
Patriots don't have a terrible defense either. Let's
Yeah.
put that out there.
But 2-9.
Yeah.
So,
True.
but yeah, Will. Will, do you have anything to say about that? Or
Look,
Tommy
I
DeVito?
mean, he's been fine. I mean, it's not like he's lighting the world up. I mean, look, 7 touchdown passes in 3-4 games. That's more touchdown passes than Zach Wilson this season. More touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett this season.
Wow.
And he now has more games of multiple touchdown passes in his career than Kenny Pickett. He has 2, and Kenny Pickett has 1.
So does Tom Brady. I saw that stat before. That was pretty funny.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
was that meme? Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, look, I mean, it's been nice. I mean, he's a Jersey kid. It's a hometown kid. It's a
Yeah,
nice story for sure.
Exactly.
And I think what he's doing right now is making a case for him to be a backup in the league. And maybe he could be the Giants' backup one day. But obviously, he's not starter material. If you watch the game
Yeah.
and you know football, you know this guy is not. He's not going to be starter material. He could be a backup in the league. He's shown growth, and I think a lot of that is coaching with Brian Dable. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I obviously I think there's a ceiling there. He wouldn't have been, a practice squad guy. I mean, it seemed like the first game against the Jets that they didn't trust him to throw the ball, but then once he finally did, he started to improve a little bit. So there's something there, and he's mobile. He can move around.
Yeah.
So he can definitely fit in a kind of mobile quarterback scheme as a backup for sure. But obviously, I mean, everyone that says that he's going to be a star in the league is obviously kidding. I mean, you can't seriously think this guy's going to be a top 32 quarterback in the league. I mean,
No,
he's been
unless he
fine, though.
unless he wins out, beats the Eagles twice, then we got something to say.
well, yeah, so if
Yeah.
he does that, then I'll be a little impressed. He beats,
Yeah,
he can make a
but-
little playoff run, but
It's
yeah.
a long shot.
But he
yeah,
could be a backup next year for sure on the
Oh,
Giants.
for
So
sure.
we'll see.
for sure. So moving on to our next topic, the Chargers. I think going into the season, at least me, I thought the Chargers would be a lot better. I mean, even last year, we all thought the Chargers would be great just from their roster alone. Herbert is such a great quarterback, but man, Chargers just got to fire their coach, right?
Mhm.
That's all it
Absolutely.
comes down to, right?
Yes, I think everyone's in agreement on that.
We've
It's
been
just-
saying this all
It's a
year.
matter of when at this point. I think the owner's
Yeah.
just really cheap, so like he wants to stick with the cheaper guy. So I think that plays a big role into it.
Yeah, I guess they said the Chargers have never. Well, I don't know about never, but in a long time they have not fired a coach during the season or something like that.
I think that stat is never, honestly.
Yeah,
but
never?
we have to look into that. But I think it might be never. I don't remember a time. I don't know if you do, but I don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're not a fan of. Yeah, they're not fans of firing midseason. Also, I think pretty sure the Spanishes are, a little bit old school, and they're not like, it's a big multi-billionaire industry now. I don't think they're caught up with the time, so I think they're used to. I don't think they're willing to swallow just that money they paid him and just go get a new coach right away. So I can see it happening at the end of the season, but I don't. At this point, especially the last 2-3 weeks, I don't. If he's not getting fired now, he's not getting fired during the season.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I was looking at their upcoming schedule. I mean, I had it up earlier, but yeah, they play. Where is it? I lost it. Oh yeah, they played Denver twice.
Yeah.
So it's like they have winnable games. They're 4-7, fourth in the AFC. Like I said, we talked about Denver earlier. They're the hot team. They're the better team at this point. They play the Raiders coming up. They play New England, and then they have Kansas City at the very end of the season. So like Chargers don't have a hard schedule coming up. They have Buffalo, but I don't know. They're just. We all want to see Herbert in the playoffs, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
The way the Chargers been playing, they don't look like a playoff team. Like if I were to choose like Denver
No.
over Chargers, I would choose Chargers. I would choose Denver all the way. They look more like they're ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Chargers just coaching wise, they just haven't been able to finish games. They stupid calls like
The fumbles,
Yeah,
like
it's just-
especially the last 2 weeks, the fumbles, and there was 4 turnovers in this last game, and I feel like I like Kellen Moore as an offensive coordinator. I think he should be the next head coach. But I think he doesn't get enough criticism too. Like we're gonna praise him when he puts up 38 against the Lions, but then we're not gonna kill him when he only scores 20 against the Packers, only 10 against the Ravens. These are good defenses. I get it, but he gets a little too cute sometimes. He did this in Dallas too. If you ask the Cowboy fans, they liked him, but he sometimes would get too cute in simple situations. Like there were 2 3rd-and-1s and he passed both times. Like at some point you just gotta give it to Eckler, your best player. Let him run up the middle. I know he hasn't been great this season, Eckler, but he did this in Dallas as well. That's all I'm saying. And I did like the creativity with the double pass on that 3rd and 17 where where he threw it back. That's the stuff I like from him. But sometimes he'll do that in simpler situations where it's not really necessary. Like I remember one time early in the season, I think Joshua Kelly, the backup running back, lined up as fullback, and they did a fullback dive on 4th and 1. When why wouldn't you give it to your best player like Keenan Allen, Eckler? You give it to your backup running back in the fullback position. So sometimes they do questionable things, both of them. But I like Kellen Moore. I think they should fire Staley and make Kellen Moore the head coach because he's shown more good than bad. But I think he deserves criticism too.
Yeah, I would love to see Kellen Moore as a head coach, and that's definitely a possibility. I've even heard rumors that the whole thing with Harbaugh in Michigan, like they're kind of running him out, at least college football. And it's like, hey, take the Chargers job next year, but that could be a long shot. But I've heard rumors about that.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard that too. I also heard Peyton wanted, Dable. I've heard before, but
so it could be anyone.
It looks like anybody would look better there.
I think Kellen Moore is the obvious, but I mean, one last thing I want to Justin Herbert too. Eventually, I think he's a top 5 quarterback, but eventually he needs to start winning some of these. Like Lamar, I used to have him above Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's got a 707 career winning percentage, wins 70% of his games. Justin Herbert only wins 48% of his games. At some point, you got to win your games. I'll take Lamar over Herbert right now. Well, then Lamar doesn't get enough credit for his passing, and he showed that in this game. The arm angles, he controls the tempo on offense. So Lamar, I would take Lamar over Herbert right now. Maybe that changes eventually in a few years, but right now, Lamar's a better quarterback.
Yeah, Herbert needs to start winning games on his own.
Yeah, Lamar wins, and that's
he needs to find ways to win. Yeah.
But he's still great. Let's be honest. Sometimes, you can't. It's not his fault with the fumbles and the stupid penalties, and sometimes it's not his fault. I get it, but at some point you need to take some blame. So.
Yeah, and the Chargers just get hit with the injury bug every year, at least.
Yeah, they did.
Their big key players go down. So that kind of stuff.
Well, that's why I like Herbert, because they had a lot of injuries at wide receiver last season. He basically carried them to the playoffs with Joshua Palmer, DeAndre Carter. So that's why I feel like he can carry at times. And sometimes the defense lets him down. But the defense played pretty well in this game. They held the Ravens to 20 points, and it was the Chargers offense that kind of disappointed in this game. So it's
you never know where you're going to get them.
Exactly. You never know. They're so what are they? What's their identity? Every week it's something different with them. They find ways to lose in different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, every week, I do my predictions just like you guys do, and all those past weeks, I'm sure both of us picked the Chargers to win a lot of those games, and they just
we did. Not the Ravens game, but
many times. Yeah, not the Ravens, but
yeah, no, I know it. Yes.
You would lose so much money on them if you put money on them every week, but.
That is a team. To be the Chargers and the Falcons, you cannot bet. You just don't know what you're going to get from those teams week to week. It just it really is kind
Definitely
of
not.
Yeah. So I stay away from the Chargers.
For sure. All right. So moving on to the last topic, but if you want to post any comment or any questions you have in the chat or whatever questions you guys got. But here we go. Game of the week, maybe game of the year. People are saying the Niners versus the Eagles, a rematch of the NFC divisional game or NFC championship game. This one's in Philadelphia right now. The 49ers are favored by 3 on the road, which I'm actually shocked about.
I'm shocked about that too.
I thought Eagles would be favored for sure. I kind of don't like being favored on the road because all that does is just fire the Eagles up. So, I would rather be the underdog, the slight underdog. But at the end of the day, that really doesn't matter. But so what's your guys' prediction on this game, Niners-Eagles?
Well, this is really interesting. I feel like we're going to see this game again in the future, maybe in the NFC Championship. These are maybe the 2 best teams in the NFC. I'm putting the Lions up there too, but if I were to choose 2, it would be the 49ers and the Eagles. So I don't know what to make of this. The Eagles, they've won all their games. I don't know if they've won them. they really haven't won them convincingly. They have won a lot of them like against hard teams, but at the same time, the 49ers, when they're at full stride, I feel like they kind of look better than the Eagles do in some ways, you know? It just all depends on what type of week they're going to have. If Purdy's going to, light things up, if everyone's going to be healthy. And I can see the 49ers winning this.
Yeah, I like it. Go ahead, Will.
Steven, I told you off air, I was back and forth on this game. I felt like 1 minute I swayed one way and the next minute I swayed the other way. But, there's a couple key facts that you got to think about here that kind of for me, swayed my opinion. And it's how good the Eagles, because I think we've all agreed this is going to be a close game. These are teams that are pretty evenly matched as far as talent roster. I think this is going to be a close, maybe even a one-score game. And the Eagles thrive in those situations. The Eagles are 7-1 in one-score games this season. The Niners are 1-2. 2 of the 3 losses came in one-score games, and it was close against the Bengals too. And the Eagles have a league high 14.6 points per game in the second half this season. Jalen Hurts has 138 passer rating when trailing in the second half or overtime. Jalen Hurts has 14 consecutive wins against teams with running records. So, there's a lot of stats here that are telling you the Eagles, when they're trailing, when they're down, when they're in close games, they put up great numbers and they find ways to win, no matter what, no matter what team. Even last week, against the Bills, there was a time I think where we all thought oh God, the Bills are going to win this game. And what do the Eagles do? They stay calm, cool, collected, right down the field touchdown. Even in overtime, once we all agreed, once it got to overtime, even when the Bills got the ball, we all had a feeling the Eagles are still going to win this game. So they're just clutch and they're great in these close games. And I have a feeling this game's going to be close. So, and the numbers tell me the Eagles are the better team in close games, even though the Niners, Brock Purdy, I feel like there should still be some MVP talk with him. I think he's leading the league in yards per attempt. He's still leading the league in passer rating. So he throws the ball down the field and he makes big plays down the field. That touchdown throw to Ayuk in the Seattle game, to close the game out. What a beautiful throw, threading it down the middle, running left, throwing it back towards the middle of the field. Purdy's got some talent.
Yeah,
but I obviously think Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback, and he's the clutcher quarterback, and Purdy's clutch too in his own way. But I haven't seen Hurts falter in these close moments yet. So I gotta, especially this season. So I gotta take the Eagles here until I'm proven wrong. Give me Eagles.
Yeah, this is a
what
game.
About you, Steven? How do you feel about this game?
Well, obviously, got my Niners winning, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. I'm not going to be shocked whatsoever. This is a huge revenge game for the Niners after that last time we faced them. We had, we lost Purdy. I think it was first quarter, maybe second quarter, but I think it was first quarter. But yeah, we lost Purdy. We lost Bosa. I think Fred Warner went down at one point, but it's just one of those games where if Purdy wins this game and beats the Eagles on the road, then he will for sure be in the MVP talks again this year. Depending on, if he doesn't throw any picks or anything, but even if he throws one pick and still wins the game, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, he could still be in the MVP talks. But it could be when Niners are firing on all cylinders, like we did against the Cowboys or, Seahawks or, a few other games this season where we're just firing on all cylinders. If we do that against the Eagles, everything's clicking, we could beat the Eagles by double digits. I know that's crazy to say, but it's one of those things we could dominate because we dominated the Cowboys and Cowboys were really close to the Eagles. So I don't know. It's I'm not going to say we're going to blow out the Eagles. It's not going to be a definite thing, but it's one of those things we got to be clicking on all cylinders, and it could happen for sure. Win by double digits.
Well, I think that you brought up a good point with the Niners because when they're playing like that and everything's clicking, they get a lead on teams. They're the best team in the league, hands down, no question. But it seems like this season specifically, when teams punch back, the Browns, the Vikings, they shake. They get a little shaky. Now, Debo was hurt. McCaffrey was hurt for a little bit.
Just got Chase Young.
There was some injuries. So then they had Chase Young. The D line was underperforming. The D line was definitely underperforming at the beginning of the season. They've really stepped it up now. So that's but you're going against the Eagles offensive line, which is one of the best in the league. And they were a little shaky against they were a little shaky against the Chiefs. They were a little shaky against the Eagles, but they picked it up in the second half. This is a great second half team, the Eagles. And the Niners, they're kind of a little opposite. The Eagles win a lot of ugly games, and the Niners will dominate games. Like Seattle, they control the game the entire time. Even when it's close, like the Rams game in the beginning of the season, you never feel like the Niners are going to lose that game. The Eagles, you'll feel like you get a little nervous, and then they always find a way to win at the end. So Maybe this will
Yeah.
be the week the Eagles finally falter. It could be. Like this is going to go down the wire, in my opinion. So I think it's going
Yeah.
to be really close. Yeah.
You know, the Niners are going to be watching that Jets tape, Jets Eagles. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
like,
happened
yeah,
there,
like
but
Figure out
it's
what
going to
they
be
do.
like a magician. Like, how did
Yeah.
they do it? They
How did they do
rewinded it.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say about this game. I'm just going to be like, biting my nails literally on this game.
Ready for
Yeah,
But,
it's gonna
ready
be
for
fun.
anything.
Look, this might be the best game of the season to watch.
It is.
It got ruined for us last season with the Purdy injury. We were all waiting for that all season. That
Yeah, it
Tennessee
just wasn't
game.
fun to watch. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. And like
Yeah.
I saw the Eagles players kind of saying how the Niners were making excuses and stuff. So there's
Yeah.
a little bit of
sure.
of rivalry building here.
Oh,
a
there's
little bit of
trash talk
rivalry.
for sure.
There's gonna be
Devos.
The top two teams in the NFC, and it seems like they're going to be the top two teams for the next foreseeable future. The Niners
Yeah.
and the Eagles. So there might be a little bit of a rivalry building here. They're
For
talking a
sure.
little bit of smack on Twitter. Now it's X, whatever it's called. Now,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's a little bit some bad blood boiling. So
Have either of you
So-
guys been to Eagle Stadium or what's it called again? Financial. What's it called?
Lincoln Financial.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been to the stadium?
No, we haven't, but it's funny. We were talking about going one time for like last season, for the last game of the season for the Giants, but then we thought all of that. We're like,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm a Jets fan, so I'm not dressing in Giants stuff.
Yeah,
He-
exactly.
He was gonna dress in Giants stuff. I'm like, dude, Philadelphia is rough, man. We're gonna end up getting,
That's what I've
getting our
heard.
butts kicked. Yeah,
That's what I've heard.
So,
Like
yeah.
they just beat the crap out of you. But
yeah. So I don't even want to deal with that, especially since I'm a Jets fan. I'm not taking a butt kicking for this guy for no reason. like he's gotta give me a good reason. So
yeah,
Those Philly fans, man. Those Philly
yeah, they're
fans.
brutal, man. They'll win the Super
what I've
Bowl. Well,
heard.
this is more of like stereotypical, but they'll win the Super Bowl and like destroy their city. But we saw the videos of that when they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
burning down their town. They're funny people for sure.
yeah. We saw the Shaq Lawson thing, where he went into the crowd.
Yeah.
Bill.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
pushed
He's
that-
arguing with the. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he pushed them, right? Pushed the fan.
I just saw them in each other's faces. I didn't
Or maybe-
see
yeah,
pushing,
maybe-
I might have saw the end of the clip. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, they're like the Eagles fans will go back at people. I'm surprised they didn't hop on the field and try to fight him. Because
I know, right?
They're tough. They're tough though. I'll give them that. They're tough people. It's tough. Like the weather there wasn't great. Like they're loyal fans. Like they're
Very
diehards for that team. So,
Yeah. For sure. Do you have like a score really quick? You guys each give a score of the game.
Oh, that's
Niners
hard.
Eagles. Yeah, that is hard. I'm gonna
It's
go.
super hard.
Let's go. I'm gonna go Eagles 27-24.
Ooh, okay, so kind of a high scoring game there.
Yeah, I mean the Eagles secondary, both secondaries are, the Eagles secondary's gotten gashed a lot. The Niners D line makes up for their secondary, but it's not like they have a bunch of starters. And Hufunga's out for the year now too.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah. Tough. Okay, so you said 27-24.
Yeah.
Dylan, what do you got?
That's tough. Maybe 24-21. 24-21 49ers.
Yeah, I think I have it at 3 points also, just like the spread. I'm going to say it's going to be a low scoring game. I'm going to go 17-14. This is going to be a battle. I don't know, but
see, the thing is, the funny thing is, I don't know how AZ Brown gets stopped, and I don't know how Ayuk, Debo, and McCaffrey get stopped. Like I just see all them getting there somehow, some way. So I see them at least getting to the 20s. I don't think it's going to be a shootout like 30s. but
yeah,
I can see both of them getting theirs. Brock Purdy makes a lot of throws down the field, like I said, leading the league in yards per attempt, and Jalen Hurts is still very explosive with the deep ball. So these are two teams that throw it down the field.
yeah. I mean, the Niners, they put up
Yeah.
30+ points in like most of their games. Not all. of
Yeah,
them, but-
exactly. The Eagles too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the Eagles. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun game. Like it feels legit like a playoff game this weekend. I'm as nervous as a playoff game coming up, leading up to it. But yeah, so that's it for our topics. We don't really have like actual questions in the chat, but I guess we got your brother in the chat, Will.
Oh my god, of course.
Shout out, we got JT in the chat. Anyone else, feel free to say what's up. But yeah, do you have any questions, Will or Dylan, about?
Well, yeah. Since we're on the topic, I want to
Yeah.
ask you: do you
Yeah.
think Purdy's gonna get the bag? Like they're probably gonna sign him. Do you think he's gonna get the bag though?
From the Niners or just in general,
Yeah.
like from a team?
No, from the Niners. Do you think the
From the
Niners are gonna pay?
Purdy would have to take us to the play. Well, we're gonna go to the playoffs, but we have to win in the playoffs at least. I want to say he would have to make it to the Super Bowl. I don't know about win the Super Bowl, but if he makes it, if he takes us to the Super Bowl, I think we got to pay him the bag because I mean, he's even if we lose, we still have to pay him. I feel like. I don't. It literally all depends on how he performs in the playoffs. If he's just like complete trash in the playoffs, then I don't. We can't do what we did with Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's a tough one. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
So I think you make a good point. If they make it to the Super Bowl, I would consider it. If they win the Super Bowl, I think you gotta pay him because even when you were going to Super Bowls with Garoppolo and going to NFC Championship games, he wasn't making the throws that Brock Purdy's making right now. I mean, like, look, Brock Purdy's not elite, but he's a good player. I mean, I've seen him make some throws. Garoppolo, kind of had a weaker arm toward the sideline and stuff. He was kind of an over the middle thrower. Brock Purdy threads it through needles, and he's mobile. He's more mobile than Jimmy. So I think you guys got something here. Like, if you're gonna get any production from the last overall, the last pick in the draft, you take it. Like, I don't know why we have to sit here comparing the guy to Mahomes and Burrow. Why can't we just enjoy him for what he is? Maybe a number 10, number 11 quarterback in the league. So he's a good quarterback. But he could win MVP this year. If he wins MVP, maybe you consider paying him the bag too. Because how do you not pay an MVP a bag?
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, I feel like it's gonna be tough for him to get back in that conversation after that 3-game skid because there's already doubts on him as it is. It'll probably be Hurts or Mahomes, to be honest with you. It's going to be one of the quarterbacks that finishes, or Lamar. Someone that finishes at the top of their conference. So
for sure. But it's one of those things like, how can you pay, and Dylan, you probably won't like this, but how can you pay Daniel Jones all that money and not pay Purdy at this point?
Oh, well,
so
that's a good point.
Daniel Jones did not deserve $40 million, but I would I would pay Brock pretty close to that. I have to see maybe one more year. But, like, Purdy's got – look, Purdy wins his games. Daniel Jones doesn't win games. That's as simple as that. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. I think the Giants making the playoffs last year kind of was a little bit of fool's gold because it fooled them to think Daniels was going to be a franchise quarterback. They had a really easy schedule last season. I said that going into this season, that their schedule's hard. And everyone wanted to say I was crazy, and here we are. But, like, I didn't think they'd be this bad.
We're winning games now, so
yeah, they are
winning. That matters.
This guy's talking about them having a playoff shot. It's like, what are we
doing
here? We were just
I'm kind of shocked by that one.
Yeah,
it literally goes either way.
You're throwing Steven the curveball here. It's like, what's going on? This the number 1 overall pick candidate a few weeks ago.
They were.
So
I know.
now the Jets are in that talk. It's like they're switching. Now the Jets are talking that top 5 pick, and the Giants are like, who would make the playoffs? So they won't make the playoffs.
Our take is could be so different in the next 2-3 weeks. But yeah, we're gonna end the live stream here, guys. I appreciate you guys hanging out or being on the live stream with me, Will and Dylan. We definitely got to do this again. I feel like the people enjoy it. I feel like they enjoy watching it. And appreciate everyone in the chat that has been watching. If you're watching this at a later time, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to subscribe to the Hold My Helmet channel. I'll put their link in the description of this video. And yeah, follow them on Instagram, all that good stuff. Anything else you guys want to plug, or like when your podcast comes out and all that stuff?
Oh, well, yeah, we put our episodes out every Thursday. So some weekends I do a little initial reaction video that posts on Monday of the Sunday games. He does betting videos on the weekends here and there. But our main episode is every Thursday. But I also like to say, hey, it's a fun time coming on with you, Steven.
Of course.
We always have a good time on here. It's fun chatting it up, having both, the East Coast talk to the West Coast a little bit.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny. Kind of funny when we hopped on and you're like, oh, it's 3 o'clock. I'm like, it's 3 o'clock. It's like dark out over here.
You're like, I'm going to
it's always a good time.
Yeah, we definitely got to do this more often. It's fun to get your guys' take. So yeah, we're gonna end the live stream here, and I appreciate all you guys watching, and we'll see you guys on the next video.
See you guys later.
Yeah.